Welcome to Talk 1260 KTRC. You're listening to the Humanity Behind the Vanity. This is Dr. Daniel Ronel. I'm here with my wife Betsy Ronel and Dr. Rita Dodge, our very special guest. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting things today. I wanted to thank our sponsors, Geneva Medical and iFlow. And I also wanted to thank everybody for their Vanity for Charity for April, and we have another one coming up in mid-May. This is Vanity for Vision. That's not my line. It's a national effort to end blindness in Africa, and one plastic surgeon in every state is going to donate the proceeds of Botox for that 1 or 2 days, and we're going to discount the Botox like 25%, and Allergan, the makers of Botox, are donating it. It's a great thing. That is going to be on May 19th at the Be Beautiful Salon in Santa Fe. May 19th, Be Beautiful Salon in Santa Fe.
It's 1 day only as opposed to his usual month-long.
Right. It's usually, things. Right, it's not the month-long thing. It's just a 1 day, but it's a national thing. So you can be involved in helping people outside of Santa Fe, in Africa, just by coming in to do something here.
Is there a website people could go to find out more about it?
Endingblindness.org. Endingblindness.org. Yes, that's what it is.
Excellent.
All right.
He did this a couple of years ago too, and it raised a lot of money.
Yeah, we did this 2 years ago. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's excellent.
All right, well, we're going to start our show in just a minute.
With Rita Dodge. So welcome, Dr. Dodge. Welcome again.
Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you once more. And I wanted to finish up the last time we had you here. We spoke about not only foodstuffs, sustainable versus local and organic, but there was a point that we touched on just a little, but not enough, which was, what does organic really mean? And what is the larger picture of organic and local? Is that a good question?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. And actually it is a really confusing subject because you hear a lot of these terms thrown around these days because it's very hip to be organic, which is great, but it's also a selling point and makes a lot of money for people to be organic.
Right.
And so there's several things about organic that people should understand. You know, organic in and of itself generically means that they're not using pesticides, especially chemical pesticides, on the plants.
Okay.
So it means instead of trying to kill any kind of insects or bugs that are eating the plants using chemicals, they try to do it in natural ways.
Okay.
So organic doesn't necessarily mean local. So
Right.
in fact, there are a lot of organic farms that you buy from that are far away.
Right.
Organic doesn't mean small. In fact, a lot of the times these days it means very large mega farms as well.
Yes.
And so it really is only speaking about chemical pesticides.
Okay.
That's literally what organic means.
That's what it's whittled down to now.
Right.
Okay.
So when you talk about food and what kind of food you're buying and the effects it has on your health, you really want to look at not just organic. That's not the only important label.
Okay. What else? What other labels do you want to look for? What do you want to know?
So sort of like we talked about last time, local.
Okay.
Okay, because if you're getting something that's organic and local, now you're not adding to the carbon footprint like we talked about. You're not getting something that's also far away.
Right.
It's sort of like looking at the multiple parts of the food that affect you and affect the planet and affect everybody else. So you want it to be organic, but you want it to be local if possible, because then it hasn't traveled 1,500 miles to get to you. It hasn't used all the fuel and carbon effects to get to you.
Yeah.
So local is the other thing you want to look for.
Okay.
And then sustainable is another word that we're using a lot of, and that's because it encompasses a broader meaning that you were referring to.
Okay.
Because if something is organic, it may actually not be sustainable.
Right.
Because some of the larger farms are still using practices that are not really beneficial to the larger ecology, and they're still coming from farther away.
Right.
So if you buy an organic piece of fruit from New Zealand, it's not really sustainable because you still have to figure out how to transport it here and what that means.
Right.
So organic is one, local is another, sustainable is another, and those are probably the three most important words that you want to look for in where you're getting your food.
So those three words, local, organic, and sustainable, they're not interlinked. They are quite separate unto themselves.
Right. I mean, you could sort of look at the sustainable part encompasses both of those in a way, or may not.
Right.
But definitely, they each have their own piece that has a different effect.
Okay.
And it's important because these days we have learned to focus on organic. It's not weird and different to be talking about organic anymore.
Right.
When I first started eating organic 20 years ago, I looked like a nutcase, you know. But so now people get it, that that's important not to use a lot of chemicals on your food. If it's killing the bugs, what's it doing to us?
Exactly.
But they're not quite to the level of understanding that it's not just about organic, that that's important but not solely. And then I also want to say, especially since we were talking about the farms and the farmers market last time, is that a lot of small organic farmers aren't certified organic. So
Right.
organic
It's a
is
big
different
deal.
than certified organic in
Right.
a way.
Mhm.
So if you say I'm an organic farmer, you're trying to express the way you grow your food.
Okay.
If you say I'm a certified organic farmer, that means you've paid the money to the government to say, yes, we've proven that you're certified organic. And that's a great thing on the one hand because people can't lie so easily and just sort of say it,
Right.
but it's bad on the other hand because small farmers can't afford it. It's very expensive.
Sure.
And so that's why it's not only about organic, it's also about local and sustainable and who grows it. And if you know your farmers, then you know how they grow their food.
Exactly. I read something in this terrific book that I gave you, The Conscious Kitchen. It said to try to stop eating bananas because it said the bananas are not sustainable and that they are actually, we're going to be out of bananas within the near future. I'm not saying 2 years, but within the near future. So what does that mean? I mean, what is your take on that?
Well, that's funny that you bring up bananas because I don't eat bananas anymore.
Interesting.
Actually,
I love bananas.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do. I don't eat them because they're not local.
Right.
So we don't have banana trees around here.
Right.
And so, however, if I go on a trip to Mexico or to another place where they are grown, I will eat them if
Right.
I think again that they're grown in a reasonable way. But it's not. It is in general not a very sustainable thing because of the way they're grown and the amount of again, pesticides are all often used in the labor.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. I mean, Trader Joe's has these, I don't know what they are, some kind of small farming or, I don't know the type of, I don't know what they have over there.
Yeah.
I shop there, but I don't know what they have. But they have these, like, I would say organic, and then they say that they are from a smaller farm, or somehow they're a more boutique way of buying a banana.
Well, and when she said don't stop buying bananas, don't eat bananas, I'd probably qualify it a little bit more to say that we eat a lot of just a few foods, meaning a lot of quantity of a few foods.
Right.
And so maybe it's the kind of thing that not everybody should be eating every day, especially if it is coming from far away. So if you get an occasional banana from a small farm that's kind of trustworthy, that might not be a bad thing.
Okay.
But probably not the quantity that we're eating now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, since I read that about a month ago, I love bananas, but I've been saying to my children, sure you want that banana? Would you like this apple instead? It's from here, it's organic, you know. And I've stopped buying as many bananas. I'm weaning us all off bananas. I'm a lifetime banana lover, but...
Well, and that's one step in the right direction.
Right.
Even just decreasing it
Right.
makes a big difference.
Right, it's a big deal. And here's another thing. I was in the regular supermarket today, Albertsons, and I wanted to buy a melon, and it said it was from Honduras. And so I thought, I will not buy the melon. No offense to Honduras, but big carbon footprint there.
Right. But see, you at least thought about it.
Right.
You looked at the food and you thought about it,
Right.
and half of it is just being conscious about our purchases and what we put in our mouths.
Exactly. All right, so we'll be right back. We have to take a commercial break, and we'll be back more with Dr. Dodge.